Everybody. Let's see if it's working. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA, and we're going to be talking about mail today. But I have a favor to ask of you today, too, and that is my impressions are sort of down, which doesn't really mean the show is popular or better or worse. It means that LinkedIn, we aren't tricking LinkedIn into sharing it very much. And so if you support mail, like I do, you might want to give it a repost or a like or comment. Comments, I think, are pretty good. I think it goes like is worth almost nothing, but still, it encourages me. Then a comment, then a repost. And that really does help. And one day, a couple of weeks ago, I had 4,000 impressions, which means LinkedIn shared it with a lot of people. So, let's work together on this, okay? And now let's get over to this commercial for the Super Bowl, which just shows you what the rest of the world thinks.
So David and I are going to be in a little commercial.
Be honest.
David
I am.
Honest.
and Victoria
Okay.
Beckham.
It's a big commercial.
Tell them what it's during.
David, I'm trying.
No, tell them what it's during.
Okay, it's during the big baseball game.
Super big baseball game.
Oh, was it the hockey ball?
Hockey ball. Oh, and tell them about Jessica Aniston.
Jessica Aniston is going to be in it too.
Thank you.
Jessica.
We love Jessica.
We love Jessica.
Isn't that Jennifer Aniston? I have no idea what's going on in this one, but I liked it because it's I did a little graphic yesterday showing that 1 billion people watch the World Cup, but only 114 million watch the Super Bowl. So if you think it's the most important event in the world, no, it's not. And our team's not in it. We almost made it, but we didn't, which was way better than we expected. So in Wisconsin, if we make it close, we're above expectations. We never expect to win because we're from Wisconsin, and we know that small market teams don't bring in the big viewership. So nobody wants us to win. The refs don't want us to win. The owners don't want us to win. The TV networks don't want us to win. And so, it's not a surprise Wisconsin doesn't win that much. But sometimes we get close, and sometimes we win a couple of them. Like we beat Dallas, and we beat Kansas City, and we beat Detroit. So we had a good run. Beat the Bears a couple of times, smoked them completely. Vikings smoked them. So it was a good season. Anyway, I won't get into Super Bowl, or it's not going to get anywhere. I'm not getting anywhere. I think I'm treading water here. I better get going. Okay, so this is Victoria Beckham. And apparently there's something to do with some historic meme that she's recreating. But I liked it just because they don't care. And Jessica Aniston, I think, is Jennifer Aniston. So I just liked it because if you're going to do a Super Bowl commercial, make it funny. And I laughed. Okay, ditching Saturday and Monday and Friday. This is from the B Daily. From Business Daily in the UK, the Software Bureau. It says the recent news of a potential reduction in universal service obligation, which is the sort of the contract for delivery for Royal Mail, which is actually, I think, the delivery is handled by Avcom, whatever that is, shocked the direct mail industry. A move from 6 to 5 days delivery per week. But then another report leaked said maybe we're going to go to a 3-day week. Now, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that would affect my life much. In our building here, we don't get Saturday delivery because nobody's here anyway. So somehow the Postal Service figured out that we're an office building. But this was a fairly thoughtful article, and it says, here it is, here's a really good thing here to think about, because they actually study this in the UK. They got this thing, JIC Mail, which keeps track of all kinds of metrics, like how long people look at their mail and how long they hold it and how many days it sits on the coffee table and whether or not it's crumpled when it arrived. No, they don't. I'm just making this stuff up. But they do track a lot of stuff. And according to JIC Mail, mail delivered on a Saturday is statistically more likely to be opened and read than any other day. 2% more likely to do something with the information, 2% more likely to discuss the contents, and 1% more likely to take action. Because why? Well, granted, the uplift for all these metrics isn't huge, and I think it's good to admit that. But Saturday still does outperform every other day of the week. And these small percentages add up when you mail millions and millions of pieces. We'll get to that in a second. You watch. Okay. So, oops, we had some pushback yesterday on my marketing is not an effective career. Sorry for that. We're keeping it light today. Okay. Effectiveness of mail is soaring according to JIC Mail. Okay. And so why does Saturday do better? Oh, it catches recipients in a more relaxed state. Okay? But they I think rightly point out that, and first, investment in direct mail by brands has risen to its highest level in 20 years. You know, never mind what you did to us with the GDPR, tried to stop all mail, even though they really didn't try. It's just the mailers thought they were trying. And J.D. Williams deleted their customer file. Or so I heard. Everybody that was more than 12 months since they bought, they just deleted them. Anyway, so direct mail is tangible. It stands out among the digital noise. It's the most trusted form of advertising. Why? Because it's probably one of the more expensive forms of advertising. So you're not going to waste that on fraud. If you're going to do fraud, you do email these days. You know, I still occasionally get a Nicaraguan prince telling me that he has a fortune that I need to just claim with him and I'll get 10%. But if they reduce the number of days by 1, 2, or 3, what's going to happen is you'll get the same amount of direct mail. You get the same amount of all mail. But what's going to happen is it's going to be a huge pile every time it comes. So it'll be nothing on a Tuesday, and then on a Wednesday there'll be double mail, and then on a Thursday nothing, and then on Friday a double mail, and then on Monday triple mail, right? So you're less likely to spend time looking at your direct mail as the lowest priority. And so, it's funny because, this article says it's about understanding the relationship between delivery schedules and marketing effectiveness. I'm pretty sure that USPS and Royal Mail don't care how effective your marketing is. You pay the bill, that's all they care. They don't care about delivering advertising mail. Even though it's powerful, it's resilient, and especially in the face of this digital revolution, I'm sorry. The digital pandemic is what we should call it. That's here. We'll underline it properly. Digital pandemic, right? And we're going to talk about that in a second. Okay, so the future of postal services is not just about the frequency of delivery, but also about supporting industries that rely on these services to connect, engage, and thrive in an increasingly digital world. I hate to tell you this, Software Bureau, but they don't care. They don't care. Okay, this was an interesting article by Nick Kolenda, and he said a lot of studies have been done about that you should reduce the left digit. Okay, so $5.99 feels lower than $6 because your eyes are anchored to the left digit. I'm not sure that's exactly why it's true. I've read that an odd number of cents makes it look like you're more careful in your pricing, that you're trying to give the best deal. Okay? But $5.99 has an average price of about 7, 8. Okay, let's add it up. 9 plus 9 is 18 plus 5 is 23. Yeah, so 6 or 7, something. Don't do this on the fly. So Nick says that when you get into the thousands, you may want to get rid of the nines and go with smaller numbers. Okay. Now, they tested all of these prices, but the control was an original price that was almost $1,000 more than these prices they were testing. So I don't know how they could consider that to be a valid test. The fact that all the lower prices beat the control, well, they were lower. It was 4,000 something, and the left digit was different. I think they should have tested in between these somehow. It doesn't seem conclusive to me. Anyway, sale prices with consistently low digits and prices consistently perform better. So you can reduce the digit average. 1999 averages 7, whereas 2111 is 1.5. Okay, so anyway, something to think about, something to test if you literally have nothing else to test. Relationships versus transaction. Here we go again. Okay, this is from John Stammel, and the cartoon says, after 10 emails, he proposes. I said, I think we should meet first. You know, that's old school. Haven't you ever heard of an email order bride? Like my Italian in-laws, my wife's grandparents met at the dock in America. So it's, you know, who needs a relationship? Just get the message across. You want to get married or not? Do you know how many emails are sent every day? I love this. 350 billion emails every day around the world. And if America gets 25%, that means we get 87 billion for 300 million people, which is a couple of hundred every day. 500, 400, something like that. That's about what I get. How many get read out of the 3,500 emails per week that aim in your direction? John says, I only keep and carefully read about 5% of my emails. That's pretty charitable. This means I delete around 3,325 emails per week. I always love the extra digits of precision, given that he isn't keeping track of this. Okay, so most Americans delete 580 billion every week. That's staggering. So why do we send so many emails? Why do we ignore the majority of them? Well, most emails are batch and blast. I rarely do send those, but I do for WDMA.org, just to let you know that we're having a meetup somewhere or on Zoom or something like that. That's the only thing I use it for, really. But so most of the stuff you get is, you know, generic, hype, or fraud. A lot of fraud. The email savior is going to be artificial intelligence, they say. But John says no. The problem is that, especially if you don't read it before you send it, you can create hundreds of emails in similar styles, and none of them can make sense. So down here is an email that he received this week. Looks like. Let's see if I can make it bigger. I'll try. Okay, and it says, hello, John. I came across your LinkedIn profile and wanted to reach out. Great work you've done with undefined. I've noticed that companies in your industry tend to overpay the IRS from $20,000 to $70,000 each year. Okay, we love what you're doing with undefined, and we'd love to help you pay less taxes legally, of course, so you can scale with more ease. Too much detail. They'll tell you about a project you worked on that's down into your LinkedIn profile that was years ago, that you say, wait a minute, that's not something I've done lately, right? It looks like we got chopped in half again today. No idea why it chops some days and doesn't chop others. it seems that the internet just stopped running. I'll keep going. Of course, we'll cut this out. You'll find the whole thing on the podcast. Podcasts actually are excellent. They cut out all the puff. Okay? So if you're here's the punchline. This is the part I wanted to get to very, very much. Okay? From these emails, this one and others generated by AI or by thoughtless bad databases, the sender doesn't care. Does the sender ever care? Okay? Does the sender ever care? That's what I'd like to know. If your email performance hasn't declined yet, it will. Too much volume, use of blind lists, and poor use of AI. What's missing in digital communication is the basis of everyday personal communication. It's building relationships. I'd like you to think about that. Do you have any relationships with merchants? Maybe you have a tailor that knows your measurements. You could just call up and say, get me a gray suit tomorrow, and they could do it without any further ado. But I doubt it, right? Mostly we buy off the rack these days, right? Maybe we get it altered, but somebody different each time. I just don't see these as relationships at all. I've never seen it. And it gets more funny. No single digital function will build a relationship because it's not mutual. It says you need a different kind of digital tools. No, you don't build a relationship with tools. It's not because you have a cell phone that you have a relationship with your spouse or your family. It's because you listen to them and you care about them and they care about you. So we need better digital tools. We need to automate and do one-to-one marketing at scale, which is the holy grail of marketing. No, it isn't. It's making a fair offer, informing the marketplace, delivering on what you promise, taking care of problems if they arise. That's the holy grail of marketing. And until we see that, marketing is going to go further and further and further down the list of career options. Because basically, what you're saying here is you want to lie to people. You want to lie so well they can't tell that you're just pretending to care. You don't care. And on that note, we'll try to piece this back together and put it up there somehow. Have a great day. Like and share. Subscribe to the WDMA for this excellent article. You can get it already marked up over there as a subscriber, which is free, or support the work and help us fight for direct mail every day. Bye-bye.